This is the last week before NFL football. How you doing? I can't wait. I can't take the excitement. I am losing my marbles just a little bit, trying to keep things in check going into this final week before New York Jets football becomes a reality yet again. The 2023 season is upon us, everybody. I am Green Bean, and welcome to episode 129 of Green Bean's Jets Pod. I am happy that you are here. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I hope you had a great holiday weekend. I hope you got 3 days off, like so many do, for Labor Day, the end of summer. This is technically speaking the last time I can wear white, they say. How's that gonna work? Because I'm going to tell you something, everybody. I plan on wearing white a whole bunch this year. A whole lot of white. That's what I think I'm going to do this year. I don't care about the seasons. We're going to wear our Jets jerseys and this fantastic throwback, the legacy jersey as they're being called, with our legacy logo and all that fun stuff. We're going to see it on the field. I think I'm just going to disregard all of the post-Labor Day advice from the fashionistas of the world, whatever they think is cool, and I'm going with this. That's what I'm going to do. I can't wait to see the Jets wearing these things, huh? We're going to get to see it week one, legacy jerseys. I can't even take it. There's too much. There's just so much to talk about, which is what we're going to get into. This is going to be a little bit of a special episode. And by special, I mean different, maybe just different. Maybe not so special, but just a little bit different than we usually do. We're not going to break it down into the segments as we do each and every other week. We're going to just do a thing. Okay, we're going to do a thing today where we talk about how we got to this moment. All of the stuff. Could this have been, while we bickered and griped and fought and pissed and moaned, could this have been the finest Jets offseason in history? Could it be? There's so much to think about. Well, how did we get here? We'll talk about it. A lot has happened. It's weird as you're going through it moment by moment by moment, and you're, engulfed in the fear of this happening and that not happening, and oh my God, what if that, and what if this, and no, I don't want that. All those things take place, and you forget to have a little bit of fun. You forget to enjoy yourself and realize all of the good stuff that's happening, transformative stuff that's taking place right in front of our disgruntled fan faces. Can you believe it? I'm telling you, it's a lot of good stuff. We'll get through all of that today, right after I ask you to go ahead and start up with those there milk duds. Give me the thumbs up button and help the channel to be better looked upon by YouTube. I'm currently in YouTube jail, as a lot of you guys already know. They're mad at Green Bean. I'm not sure why, but they are. So give me the milk thumbs. Let them know, hey, this guy's okay. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that'll really show them. Go ahead and give me a sub, and that will help the channel grow, as is standard operating procedure on a YouTube channel these days, right? You got to do it. I sub to everybody, man. I do it. I thumbs up at minimum. That's the way to do it on YouTube. So I also want to give a nod to the Beanbaggers. We are going into the 2023 season. We are rearing to go. We have our all 22 breakdowns on Wednesday night. We have our post-game hangs after every single game, and a smorgasbord of other good things that we like to do together, the Discord, everything. If you'd like to join up and hang out with one of the best groups in all of Jet fandom, you can join the Beanbaggers. The link is in the description, and I want to remind you about today's sponsor, Testosil. Men start losing their testosterone as early as their mid to late 20s. Could you believe it? Things like depression, lack of energy, low sex drive, and so many other negative effects by the lowering of our T count. Well, maybe a testosterone booster is something you'd want to consider. The all-natural testosterone booster, Testosil, is the one that I go with. I take it. I use it at the gym. It's working out for me. It might work out for you, but here's the thing. If you click the link in the description or just go on there and use the promo code GreenBean at checkout, you will get $10 off your first bottle plus an additional free bottle they're going to throw in for Green Bean viewers. If you're going to do it, why not get a deal, huh? And if you don't like it, they offer a full money-back guarantee, no questions asked. I think it's just about as good of a deal as you're going to find out there. And I thank Testosil for episode 129 of Green Bean Jets Pod. So, guys, let's do it, huh? We're going to dig in. What happened this offseason that got us here? If I may, I'm going to dip back into last season just to get it's like the kindling on the fire, right? We're going to talk about something that is not really what we're used to around here. Yes, we see some positive things. We saw Zach Wilson his rookie year. He looked good at times, right? He's shown flashes. We saw Becton his rookie year. He showed flashes. But last year, we got into something that was a little bit different. It started to become somewhat of a joke around the NFL, which is the Rookie of the Week awards. Did you know, or do you remember? I know you knew at one point, but do you remember just how many times the Jets won Rookie of the Week? Well, let's go through it real quick. Bam Knight, if you don't remember, won Week 14 Rookie of the Week. So we even had him. We had 4 different players win Rookie of the Week. Bam took it home on Week 14. He's now not with the Jets any longer. He's on the Detroit Lions practice squad. But while with the Jets, he took home the Rookie of the Week award. Now, Breece Hall also won it weeks 4 and 6. Now, if it wasn't for that knee injury, I have a sneaking suspicion he might have won 1, 2, 3, 5 more. If not for competing with his other teammates, Sauce Gardner took it home week 5, 7, and 9. Garrett Wilson won it 4 times in 2022, weeks 2, 8, 12, and 13. So look at that. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14. New York Jets Rookie of the Week. It's interesting because Nick Bosa ended up, Aiden Hutchinson. You see, they're very similar. The Rookie of the Year award from Pepsi went to Aiden Hutchinson. He only won Rookie of the Week once, but you almost get a sneaking suspicion that Pepsi just felt bad. They couldn't give it to it. They couldn't give another award to a Jet because of what we're going to get into in a few minutes. They had to give it to somebody else. Not that he didn't have a great rookie season. I think he was fantastic. But it just seemed a little bit sus to me. You know what I mean? I think when you look it all over again, you go, what's that all about? So we started with that going into the offseason. Now, what did the Jets do this offseason? It wasn't really the craziest free agent splurge that we've seen, right? It wasn't. We didn't go out and get a whole bunch of guys in free agency, the big name this and big name that, and all the highest paid this and that. We didn't go that route this year. People seem to think that we did because of a trade that we had. But we didn't really do. Of course, we were in free agency. We did some stuff, and we'll go into those. But it wasn't like a traditional splash year that the Jets have become known for over the years. We'll try to figure out what it is that was so great about this offseason. On the lowdown, we kind of went the sneaky snake route in the beginning. So going back to March, the Jets started the free agency. We signed a wide receiver by name of Allen Lazard. Now, gave him a 4-year, $11 million per contract, which is, not necessarily high these days for wide receivers, maybe higher than some people thought that Lazard was going to command. All well and good. It was a precursor to one of the other moves that the Jets were really hoping would take place, and we'll get to it. Jets fans, Jets organization, everybody was hoping for something to happen. Bringing on Allen Lazard seemed like a good start, right? It seemed like a pretty good start. Big-bodied wide receiver, nice catch radius, ferocious blocker, all those kinds of things. A solid get for the New York Jets. And we also added, right on the heels of that, we brought on Mecole Hardman, who is an electric player. We've seen him with Kansas City. He brings something to the team, that pure speed that we just haven't seen here in a few minutes. and very, very talented guy that a lot of us are excited about this year. So we brought on two receivers, Hartman and Lazard, heading into free agency, right? The beginning of free agency here. And we signed a couple guys back to the squad. We signed Solomon Thomas. We even signed Ty Johnson, who ended up getting hurt, and we cut him, which is all well and good. It is what it is. But we re-signed Solly, and we re-signed Ty Johnson. Now, here's a big one that a lot of Jets fans, it's just kind of gone. It's off of our radar. But don't forget how big of a move this could be for the New York Jets in 2023. On April 7th, the Jets signed punter Thomas Morstead back to the roster. Don't forget, when Braden Mann was injured, we ended up filling in with Morstead, and then we cut Morstead and put Braden Mann back in the whole thing. Well, then on April 13th, the Jets ended up cutting punter Braden Mann. Now, a lot of Jets fans wanted that to happen. That was one of the things that they thought was a big problem. And very, very happy. So we replaced Braden Mann with punter Thomas Morstead, who's looked fantastic in the preseason. Another sneaky little move that happened right alongside punter Thomas Morstead was we signed defensive lineman Quentin Jefferson from the Seahawks on the same day. We got Morstead and Jefferson on the same day, and then a few days later, cut Braden Mann. What do you think of that? Not too bad. Now, here's another sneaky good one that we didn't really, I don't know if too many people were ecstatic or relieved or whatever we felt at the time, but you look at it right now, and it's a pretty important one. We re-signed center Connor McGovern on April 24th. And we got him for a little bit of a deal now, didn't we? Not quite the deal that Testosil's offering, of course, but a deal nonetheless. We got him for, $1.6 million or something along those lines. So now he's currently our starting center. I mean, it gives Tippmann that little bit of a window of time to get everything up to snuff, his snaps and so forth. And we have a vet in the room, on the line, starting week 1 for the New York Jets. Thank goodness for Chef Boyardee. Right? There you go. So on May 2nd, the Jets brought in Billy Turner, and then May 3rd, we got Randall Cobb and Al Woods. Not too shabby. Now, when you look at Jefferson and Woods, again, not the big splash moves that you come to expect with the New York Jets, but really what it boils down to is this. We lost 2 defensive linemen. We lost Sheldon Rankins, who had himself a very, very solid 2022. And we lost Nathan Shepard, who was a Mike McCagnon draft pick, a third-round pick, I believe he was, defensive lineman. He was okay. He was solid, right? So we needed to replace these guys. And when you look at Jefferson versus Rankin's production last year and over the course of their career, they're very, very similar. A couple more tackles here, a couple more sacks there, that kind of thing. They're very similar players, so it's kind of a push. We just replaced Rankins with Jefferson. But I got to tell you, getting Al Woods to fill the hole that Nathan Shepard left is nothing short of an upgrade, and that one can end up being the sneaky good one that helps this line to kind of reach its potential. There's not a Nathan Shepard coming in, there's an Al Woods coming in, and I think that's a big, big deal. So right there in the middle of June, we got some bad news. We lost safety Chuck Clark, who Joe Douglas traded for from the Baltimore Ravens, traded a 7th-round pick for him, and we were all kind of counting on him to shore up the tackling on the back end of our defense. He goes down for the year, but right on the heels of that, we bring in safety Adrian Amos from the Packers, which is a solid move. Now, he got beat out for the starting job, so to speak, by Tony Adams. Tony Adams, the young buck, undrafted free agent from a year ago, is going to assume starting reps with the New York Jets defense, but having Amos in the rotation, they're probably going to use more than once or twice a few 3 safety sets. They like to move the safeties around, bring them up to the linebacker position often. You're going to see a lot of him too. So I think that's a fantastic move, and it ebbed that loss, that hole that the injury to Chuck Clark created for us almost instantaneously. So a very, very solid move. So like I said, free agency, okay, we had some solid stuff. but nothing crazy. You know, Al Woods, Jefferson, Lazard, Hardman, some good guys, Cobb, but nothing crazy. But that was because we didn't need to do all of our crazy in free agency. We did it in other areas. Now, one of the main areas, like I talked about with the punter, it's kind of an unassuming thing. It doesn't get quite the headlines as a lot of other places. But one of the main moves that the Jets made this year was they jettisoned young offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, who, for all of his offensive wizardry, you know, he's a good play designer and all that stuff. We did lots of breakdowns last year about how many guys he was able to scheme open and the quarterback couldn't find them and so forth. But there was a couple things that he lacked. One is the team didn't like him. Okay, so that's big. They didn't like him. They weren't motivated by him. They didn't really buy into a lot of what he was doing. But even worse, his lack of development was apparent, particularly with one Zach Wilson. So we get rid of him and we bring on Nathaniel Hackett, which, along with the Lazard thing later, really started to kind of get the wheels turning on this potential for another big move. But Hackett, who has been known to work with quarterbacks, he's done it in more than one location. The one that pops up and out of everybody's mouth is Blake Bortles down there in Jacksonville. Did a fantastic job with him, obviously up in Green Bay. And he had that head coaching experiment go awry a little bit in Denver. But that's a different job, right? It's a different thing. So we bring on an experienced offensive coordinator after losing a guy who pretty much looked like he was, his head was spinning. Let's just maybe say it that way. He looked like he might have been a smidgeroon overwhelmed, and lots of problems on the offense as a result. And you bring on somebody with a little bit more experience on both the play calling, the developmental side. This could have some of the most positive dividends out of any of the things that we did this offseason, is revamping the offense, new mindset, just an infusion of excitement and energy and all those kinds of things, experience. I think it's going to go a very, very long way. Now, let's bring it to the big move. Again, a lot of people are assuming the Jets went nuts in free agency because we pulled off a massive trade, right? In April, the Jets made it official. It was rumored for a long time, right? We fly out there, we meet with Aaron Rodgers and everything, but we made it official. The Jets trade for four-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Aaron Rodgers, and it changes everything about the organization. Now, the downside to that was that we thought we were getting this guy who was going to be kind of hoity-toity, aloof, distance wasn't going to show. We heard all these rumors. He's not even going to come to OTAs. He won't be involved in training camp. He's been the exact opposite of everything that we were expecting, that we were told we would be receiving. And he's kind of changed the face of the entire organization. And not just because of the name. Look at just a few things. One in particular, I'm just going to talk about the Becton thing. We saw it on Hard Knocks. Hey, the way that he interacted with Becton, the support, hey, let's go get, the hug and let's go get some lunch or something this week. And it's that sort of personal touch with these players, support as opposed to the hammer, which is kind of what we're known for. We're rough. We're a rough bunch. And we don't give people all that much time. He kind of switched that around, and we see the results with Becton winning the job for the starting right tackle, which is an immense positive for the offense and for the organization as a whole, in my opinion. I think if Becton's out there and he stays healthy, man, he changes everything, and I think it's a good thing. The tact that the Jets took, and Aaron Rodgers specifically with this man, I think is beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's just the most wonderful thing. So we added Aaron Rodgers to the mix with his offensive coordinator that just a year prior won back-to-back MVPs together. We add two of the receivers that he worked with during that stretch to the offense. And you see it. It's not that we didn't have talent all over the offense already. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. We bring these guys in coming from a successful working relationship So they bring it in and they just drop it right on one Jets drive, and we hit the ground running as opposed to trying to piece together all sorts of new pieces. Aaron Rodgers, sure, he's a vet, but we have an offense he's never worked in before and all those types of things. We don't have to worry about that at all. It's a really kind of a brilliant move. And again, while we definitely talked about it, I think is still not appreciated to the degree that it should be. He only had 1 year away from Hackett post those MVPs. So it's getting these guys together. Again, they all know everything, the ins and outs, the vernacular, the terminology, everything about this offense. It's all already intact. And now we can just work on the perfection and obviously getting our young guys up to snuff with it. I think it's a beautiful thing. And honestly, man, I think it gives us a real leg up to hitting the ground running into the season starting week 1 against the Bills. It's just not something that we have to assume is going to be, broken down kind of. We got to put all the pieces together, which we've seen so many years here. We got to give it time. So is that the best offseason ever? I mean, that alone could be it. But there's a lot more kind of in the abstract that happened this offseason that just doesn't happen to the New York Jets. Let's start with this. Our rookies. We already talked a little bit about them winning Rookie of the Week every 5 minutes, right? We saw that. It was kind of becoming known as the Jets Award. There were jokes like, you should just leave it at the Jets facility. Just take all the belts and leave them there. That's all well and good. We know the other side of that it's fan voted, and it is what it is, right? It's a positive, but we don't want to go nuts over it. The other side of this is the AP, the Associated Press Awards, the NFL honors ceremony. We went into that with a lot of potential. This was February 9th of 2023. We were actually live for it on the Thursday thick of it here. And we got to see, we didn't know, we had a feeling, but we didn't know what was going to happen. We had a couple things that could happen. We had a couple things that we could be disappointed, as is our standard operating procedure. But we got to see Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner win Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, respectively. It's never happened in the New York Jets history. Offensive Rookie of the Year has never happened in New York Jets history. It's only happened 3 times now in NFL history that the same team won Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year in the same year, and it's us. We got to witness that this year, 2023. It's never happened before. The same night, everybody, we got to see a first ballot Hall of Famer come out of the New York Jets, one Darrelle Revis. And then on top of that, we got to see the culmination of quite literally decades of complaining, harping, lobbying by New York Jets fans and others around the NFL for a Jets legend, and it's sad to say, largely ignored player, one Joe Klecko, get inducted to the Hall of Fame. So on the same night, February 9th, 2023, Jets fans got to witness Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year on the same night in the same year, never before in our history. 2 New York Jets inducted to the Hall of Fame, never before in our history. 1 first ballot, 1 senior status, right? Legend finally get the nod into the damn Hall of Fame. Because of that, I think they had an idea. The Jets were given the Hall of Fame game, which is the first NFL game of the season over there in Canton. The Jets versus the Cleveland Browns. We got to see a little bonus Jets action this year because of it. So you look at all this stuff compiled together. All the Rookie of the Weeks going into the offseason. Sure, it sucked the way the season ended. We're not going to talk about that. But then going into the offseason, the Jets don't go that traditional Jets route and try to buy themselves a brand new team with all the big name free agents that are on the market. Nope. We just get solid guys, role-playing guys. Alan Lazard, you re-sign Connor McGovern, you bring Solomon Thomas back, you get Quentin Jefferson, you get a little Cobby action and some others, and you're just plugging holes. because you know what the big move is going to be. You're going to make a trade for a quarterback that is going to take this team that was, hey, by the way, this close to making the playoffs last year, up on the back of 6 one-score losses with the 32nd ranked quarterback play in the entire NFL. 6 one-score losses. If it would have had a 20th quarterback in the NFL, we more than likely made the playoffs last year, and it sucked the way it ended. Don't get me wrong. But let's be real here. This team was a quarterback away. We kept the defense together, barring the 2 guys I mentioned earlier. We added some youth, some fresh, burst of talent. Now we get to see guys like Jamie and Sherwood come in. I guess Quan Alexander can be mentioned as a guy we lost as well. I think it was by choice. But letting him go could create a hole. But Jamie and Sherwood, I have all the faith in the world. Not the same player, but having him out there on the field in replacement of him, in addition to guys like Chaz Surratt and all these young bucks coming up, earning their spot, Tony Adams and the like. It's going to be an exciting thing to see the lion's share of this defense kept together. Now I'm going to add a few things to this offseason. Something that we haven't seen since 2011. A big one. We re-signed a New York Jets draft pick to a legitimate second contract. Not a 1-year holdover like Jordan Jenkins got, or even Nathan Shepard the year prior. We re-signed arguably the best player on the entire team, Quinnen Williams, to a 4-year contract extension, which enabled me to go out and buy my first live active player jersey in a long time. We haven't seen it in 12 years, guys, that the Jets re-signed one of their own draft picks, and a first-round draft pick at that. The guy, we saw the Jets retain Quinnen Williams in his prime. Right? In his prime, an all-pro last year. Which, by the way, the Jets had all-pros last year. When's the last time you saw a rookie win all-pro? Well, we saw that with Sauce Gardner. When's the last time you saw more than one Jet win all-pro? Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, C.J. Mosley. What is going on out here? This is not the norm for the New York Jets. It all happened this past offseason. Now, I know I'm forgetting a few things. I have to be. There's got to be some things that are on your little list there. Like, hey, what about this, man? Well, let's have that conversation in the comments of this video. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I think the Jets played this the right way. I think that we're doing things the right way. Overall, large scale, not just, this move or that move. Large scale, overall conceptual thinking. The Jets are doing this the right way. Oh, by the way, one last thing as we go into this week. The Jets are entering week 1, the healthiest that we've entered week 1 in I can't tell you how long. Again, Joe Douglas gutted the entire medical, nutritional, training, and rehabilitation staff. 3 years ago, we're seeing the dividends. We're walking into week 1 with the team that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and the crew actually built to head into week 1. This is also not the norm. Part of the offseason, heading into week 1, September 11th, MetLife Stadium. We're going to be loud and proud, and the energy coming out that place. I'm just concerned that Route 3 doesn't have any accidents with all the energy popping out of that parking lot and that stadium. Guys, it's going to be a slaughterhouse in MetLife Stadium, September 11th. If you're contemplating going and didn't get your ticket yet, get your damn ticket and get in that building and help it become the loudest that stadium has ever been during a Jets game. Guys, I want to thank you for hanging out with me on episode 129 of GreenBean's Jets Pod. I will see you all again very, very soon. And as always, go Jets.